There's a PBS series coming up in June called Prehistoric Road Trip about paleontology and fossil hunting in North America. Now, on that topic, this is pretty much flyover country. When it comes to dinosaurs, Missouri doesn't have much, but it does have something. Our next story brings us here to Marble Hill, Missouri, the seat of Bullinger County. It's west of Cape Girardeau. Why are we here? Well, we're here for a story that took place a long time ago. Right around here, this was the home of the Missouri state dinosaur. A few of its fossilized bones were discovered nearby in 1942, and it took a while before more bones were found, and they were able to identify it as a hadrosaur, a duck-billed dinosaur, officially Hypsibema missouriensis. Now, hadrosaurs as a group were pretty big in size, but this one was particularly big 75 million years later, when it made a comeback in Bullinger County. You can find the story up the hill in Marble Hill at what used to be the Will Mayfield College, which until the 1930s turned out a lot of teachers for one-room schoolhouses. Now it's the home of the Bullinger County Museum of Natural History. So here's what surprises me when I travel around, is to find a museum of natural history in a town of, what, 1700?
Just about there, yes.
Yeah. We were met by museum president Eva Dunn.
It actually was kind of a very nice combination of events about 20 years ago. These beautiful buildings that are up here on the hill were in need of a new mission, and there was a local dig site for dinosaurs, and they were in need of a location for displaying what was being found at the dig site and other dinosaur.
Now, this region is not good dinosaur fossil country. There's never been any discovered yet in Illinois, and Missouri's hadrosaur, kind of a fluke.
Bullinger County is the only place in Missouri up to this point that there have been dinosaur fossils found.
Yeah.
And largely because our sandstone top layer of the earth wore away most of the other fossils. And sometime in geology, a great big chunk up near Glen Allen fell into a crevice and was preserved. It got covered over and then wasn't rediscovered until a family was digging a well.
That was back in 1942, and a state geologist named Dan Stewart was surveying the area when he came across a local boy named Ole Chronister, who told Stewart about some old bones his family had found while digging that well.
They thought they were cow or horse bones, something like that. And he took Dan to look at those bones, and Dan recognized them as dinosaur bones.
What he found wasn't anything as dramatic as something like this, which is why it took a trained eye to recognize them for what they were. It was just a few.
It was just
vertebrae?
a few.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
It was vertebrae from the tail, and they would have been about as big as your fist. There's a photo of the ones that are actually in the Smithsonian. At the time, they thought they were from a sauropod, but they did not have the right identification at that time.
It wasn't until digs at the site resumed in the 1970s that more fossils were found to determine that it was a hadrosaur. More discoveries were made by Guy Darrow, who took over the dig site and who's in the business of creating full-scale dinosaur models. He helped found this museum and displayed his dinosaurs here, but the relationship soured. It's a story well known in these parts. But bottom line, Darrow left and took his dinosaurs with him to open a new museum in St. Genevieve. And that forced the Bullinger County Natural History Museum to make some changes, to diversify.
And so we have gone from being just mostly the Missouri dinosaur story to sharing lots of different treasures and still dinosaurs in our region. We tell the natural history story with fossils and the Ice Age animals and the dinosaurs and then the Mammal Age. And while they no longer have a full-sized hadrosaur model on display, you will find a full-sized baby. This is actually the size that the Missouri dinosaur would have started out.
Oh, is that right? So that's actual baby size.
That is actual baby size. And by the time she was full grown, I believe it was a female, and I'm not a scientist, so I'm not sure how they tell, but She would have been as big as the 30 feet long and as big as the stage.
That's quite a growth spurt.
It really is.
Yeah. But Hypsibema missouriensis is still Marble Hill's claim to fame. And fans of the local dinosaur lobbied in Jefferson City and succeeded in 2004 in having it join the Missouri mule, the bullfrog, the eastern bluebird, and others as an official state animal.
It was the only dinosaur in Missouri. We felt, there are other state symbols, and a great big dinosaur is a very good state symbol, and they adopted the state dinosaur.
It's a local story.
It's our story. Yes, it is.